Hi, thanks for checking our channel here on this video. This video is just a, it's not really a repair video now because I just got done doing this. This is a Zareba or Red Snapper or American Farmworks 10-mile solar unit. ESP10M-Z. Well, not very old. This is only a 2018 model, and the board was bad. And they made two different versions, maybe three, but two main versions of these things. This is a later version. It had a single board in there. It either went up here or went down below. It had a transformer board all built together. And the earlier versions had a transformer that sat back here in the corner with a little board down there. Those parts are obsolete now. They don't make them anymore. Now, boards you can get for the newer ones, but they're like $80 from Zareba, and they have issues. And I think the Chinese built units. But anyways, neither here or there. But their boards go bad. They've already got like a 1-year warranty on them anyways, and they're like $200, $185, $150 if they're on sale. But usually what, $170 to $200 is what they're going for. So I didn't have a board in stock for them. And every time you go to look them up, they're always like out of stock. They're almost always out of stock on the website. So I was like, you know what? More than one way to skin a cat. So what we did to this thing, this is not the original board by any means, but this board is a Gallagher S17 board. Now this is a 0.15 output joule. So like a comparable unit today, or for a while it was like the Gallagher S22. It's a 0.22 stored and probably around 0.15, 0.16 output. So basically the same thing almost. So what we did, we took an S17 board, had a junk one laying in here, fixed it up, got it going, and I've hardwired it into this unit. I've had to, the solar panel had this S17 board of the Gallagher stuff has a funny plug here, and the Zareba had a couple little spade connectors that plugged onto the board. Well, this has this kind of funny plug on it. So I had a bad broken solar panel, cut the wires on it. I soldered and heat shrink them together, plugged it in there so that way the solar panel will plug into the board. I didn't have a spare battery wire available on hand to plug onto this for the S17. So I just hardwired and soldered the wires right onto the correct pins that were positive and negative, and I extended them out long enough so that way they could plug onto the battery here. So if you pull the battery out, these wires will pull down inside there without pulling on this too much, as long as you catch the battery and unplug it. His battery is no good. It's like 3 volts, 4 volts. And so I put a load deal on the battery, and it has hardly any load to it at all. So the batteries that's in there is not that old. It's like a February age battery when it was bought, and it's junk. And then the other thing we had to do is these are the output wires that go to your fence and ground. Well, I figured out which was hot and ground. I basically soldered it to the output tabs on the transformer output for the original Gallagher. The other thing I did was, now the S17 and S22 Gallaghers have a photo sensor on the board down here, and it senses the daylight and everything, and at night it will slow its pulse down. Well, when you put the case on this thing, even during the day, you put the case on here, it's going to make it dark in here, and it's going to slow the pulse down when you don't want it to. So I basically got rid of that photo sensor and shorted it and soldered it together, and now it's daytime mode all the time, which some people don't care anyways. It doesn't hurt anything. Another thing I had trouble with figuring out was a switch. The S17 has a switch down here, an on-off switch, and so I had to figure out what was on, what was off. I figured out there's 3 tabs on there. Here, there's three tabs there, 3 solder joints, and I had to figure out which was on and off when I did a continuity check across there. Once I figured that out, I took their switch here, I soldered some wires to the back side of the board, ran them out underneath and plugged them on to the on-off switch here. The other thing I had to figure out was, even with the switch on, there's another lead there, and it didn't matter where it was on and off here, it would always stay on there. So I had to take and get rid of one of those wires there to disable the off part of it, or the on part of it, so that way this switch would run in place of that switch. As long as the switch is on, this acts as our on-off switch here. So I'm about ready to put it all back together here. And now the good thing is, the S17 board, or S22 board, whatever you want to call it, same thing basically, they are repairable. Now, Zareba doesn't make any parts for their boards. You can't buy like a transformer or whatever for the board to fix the board. You have to basically buy a new board. Well, Gallagher's, you can buy parts for their boards. Well, at least here in the States you can. And so this board, if something ever does happen to it, we can pull this board off, fix the board, and put it back in place. So that's what we did. So this is basically Zareba solar panel, which don't go bad that often. A Zareba battery, which isn't their battery, but it's a battery that they put their name on, in there, and with a Gallagher board in there. So I can't use their battery because it's no good. But we will. I'll put power across here, and we'll turn it on, turn it off. So I'm gonna make sure okay, it's off right now. So I'm going to go across here. I got about 6.5 volts running to it. Now we'll see it's not on, so I'll flip the switch. Hear it ticking along there. Flip the switch off. It shuts off. Flip the switch on. Back on. And the solar panels, like I said, don't go bad that often. I mean, occasionally, but usually after 20 years of use. The boards will long go bad by then on the Zareba stuff. You'll have to probably replace them 4, 5, 6 times in 20 years. But these Gallagher seem to be pretty good quality boards. So putting that board in place of this one, and in place of the other one, is a lot more, long-term wise, a lot more reliable of a board. And cheaper to fix, because you can actually fix these boards typically than just swapping them out. So if you've got a Zareba, 10-mile solar unit, and the board's bad in it, send me the unit and we'll hardwire a S17 or S22 Gallagher board in place. Trying to find my tester here. Is that tester over there? My needle one? Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this tester here. And I'm going to go across fencing ground here, which goes to the bolts that go through the case. Sitting about 9.5 kV. So everything's good to go, minus I need to get a new battery, which I don't have one in stock. It's not that old. Maybe they can return it back to the store or whoever they bought it from. Maybe get a swap out on it. I don't know. They bought it in mid-February, and we're mid-March of 2022. So, but that's it basically. I'm gonna put the wires across the battery, or when I call the customer and say, hey, you need to get a new battery. He's a local guy. He'll drive over here and pick it up here next day or so, I'd imagine. And then he'll have to go down to the co-op or wherever and buy a new battery. I don't have any in stock, or I'd put one in there for him. But that's our information right there. So if you've got a Zareba 10-mile solar or Blitzer, American Farmworks, whatever, 10-mile solar unit, they're all the same. Just different sticker on the outside. But we're happy to fix it up for you. And it makes it a lot more reliable of a unit, because Gallagher's don't have hardly any trouble with their stuff. I mean, they do go bad from time to time, but usually after years of use. So we'll put the screws back in it, call it done. It's a lot of trial and error to get all this wiring done right, which I did I had to do all the figuring out here and everything to get it right. So, but hopefully you like this kind of stuff. Like the video, hit thumbs up, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. But until next time, we'll see you guys later on.